Hello and welcome to News Central TV. My name is Mazino Appeal. The top stories this hour. Youths defy police warnings, stage protests in Lagos, Abuja, Rivers and other states. And police confirm 16 killed in bandit attack on Kebbi villages. Also coming up, thousands rally in Morocco at pro-Palestinian protest. Now let's begin with the Take It Back protest nationwide. Now, demonstrators in Lagos participated in the nationwide protest against bad governance and restrictions on freedom of expression. While no protesters were apprehended in Lagos, a minor confrontation occurred when law enforcement officials prevented the demonstrators from approaching the Lagos State Assembly complex. News Central's correspondent Ibalani Omoniyi provides the details.
The day commenced with a mild police presence as the protesters did not congregate by the initially scheduled time of 7 a.m. However, the situation began to evolve around 9 a.m. as demonstrators started to arrive in increasing numbers. Soon after, chants and charges commenced. The protesters, identified as the Take It Back movement, marched with high spirit from Ikeja under the bridge to Allen roundabout, their first stop. Security operatives, including the police, Civil Defense Corps, and Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps, accompanied the march.
Telling Nigerians there's a matter of time the presidency will become despotic and they will say they will not conduct election and nothing will happen about it.
We are calling for the end of the use of cybercrime to repress free speech. Oh, yes, we are calling for the immediate reversal of the military rule that the president have imposed in Rivers State. We are calling for the end to the ongoing demolitions across the country.
Subsequently, the protesters continued their march to the Lagos State Secretariat, which houses the governor's office, and then proceeded towards their final destination, the Lagos State Assembly. Drama ensued when the police barricaded the road leading to the assembly, halting the march's progress.
If you want any representative of the assembly to come and address you or talk to you, we'll send for them and they'll come and talk to you. And not for you to go into that assembly ground in this form.
After a few minutes of waiting and demonstrations, the protesters demanded to be addressed by a high-ranking official from the assembly.
The Lagos State Assembly is currently under lock and key and there's no one in there. How come you're still here and who do you intend to see by coming here?
Because if the Lagos State House of Assembly is going to go on holiday, they must announce publicly. There is no public announcement that the Lagos State House of Assembly is on holidays. So we are here to listen to our representatives. So they will have to tell us today whether the Lagos House of Assembly is still in vogue or it is on suspension.
Several protesters utilized the opportunity to express their views.
Tinubu should gather his court and tell them to do the needful. Our life is being miserable. How can I be buying for 1,000 naira when I have the resources? It's my resources. So he should allow me to enjoy my resources.
This is our country and we cannot continue living as a second-class citizen.
Observing that no officials addressed them, the protesters made their next move known.
Different parts of the country are passing a vote of no confidence on the Lagos State government. Yes. Also, we are passing a vote of no confidence on the president of the country, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are calling for the immediate release of the protesters, all of them. And again, we are reiterating our call for the immediate resignation of illegal IGP Egbedokun. The government of Tinubu did not accede to this demand. Then, the next time we are coming out, it will be a luta infinito.
The protest dispersed at approximately 12:30 p.m. with a stern warning to the government regarding their demands. In Lagos, for News Central, Ibalani Omoniyi.
The Take It Back protest in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, turned violent when the police clashed with protesters. The demonstration, intended to start at Isaac Borough Park, was halted by authorities who directed protesters to move to the federal secretariat 6 kilometers away. The Take It Back protest in Rivers State held alongside Bring Back Governor Sim protest organized by the Niger Delta Congress.
The protest in Port Harcourt, Rivers State was dual, comprising the Take It Back protest with a demand for the repeal of the Cybercrime Act and Bring Back Governor Sim protest for the restoration of a democratic rule in Rivers State. The protest, initially set to begin at the Isaac Borough Park, was preemptively blocked by the police, who arrived early to prevent the gathering and ordering them to move to another location.
Stop recording. No, don't stop recording.
We are here to speak against the unconstitutional removal of our elected governor and the Rivers State House of Assembly. We are here to demand a government for the people of Rivers State, because as it stands now, we are without government. This government in Rivers State is alien to our people. It's unconstitutional. And so we are here to demand that our governor comes back to office and lead us appropriately.
Only a handful of demonstrators gathered.
We want to tell the press now that it is illegal to address the press. Where do you want us? Say to the press, where do you want us to?
I have already told you where you're supposed to go.
After much discussions with the security operatives present at the takeoff points, the police then directed protesters to relocate to a different venue.
It is important for Rivers people to understand, and Nigerians, that what is happening today in Nigeria is actually a rape on democracy. Because there is no reason whatsoever why an elected government will be suspended for no just cause. We are in a democracy, not in a dictatorship. And Rivers people must come out this morning because it is important for them to know that even freedom is not free. You must fight for freedom.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it took just a few minutes into the procession before chaos erupted and the protesters dispersed by the police in a rather violent and confrontational manner.
Yes! No problem.
How was it for us? Police are shooting! Police are shooting!
Yes!
We started the procession from the Isaac Park. When we moved from the Isaac Park and got to CFC, they came in a war format in extra vehicles and vans and all that and blocked us. And the same Mr. Odo, or whatever his name is, came and said that that we have made a statement we should leave, that we have granted press, we have done enough procession, that we should go. We said no, that we have not even started what we had envisaged, and that we had other plans to proceed, and we also have a route to follow, and we need to follow that particular route. He said no, that we must leave now, and we said no, we will not leave, that what we are doing is our civil right, and we have the permission of the police to even go ahead with what we are doing. The next thing they started doing, they started shooting tear gas canisters on us. Of course, it was a joint team from both the army, the police, the civil defense. They were all there.
In the meantime, the protesters have promised a comeback to drive home their demands. In Port Harcourt for News Central, Biola Festus.
Now in Abuja, protesters in the Maitama area of Nigeria's capital were dispersed by the Nigerian police force on Monday as operators deployed tear gas to break up the peaceful demonstration. The protesters who were gathered to express their grievances were caught off guard and scattered in response to the tear gas. The protest, part of a larger national movement led by the Take It Back movement and various civil society groups, addressed multiple issues affecting the country. Among the main concerns were the alleged misuse of the Cybercrime Act, the growing economic hardship, and the state of emergency in Rivers State. Activist Omoyele Sowore was present at the protest in solidarity with the movement. While no injuries or arrests were reported, the tense atmosphere persisted as police action stirred concerns over increasing political repression in the country. Now to discuss this, we're joined by former National Coordinator Take It Back movement, Ayo Oni. Ayo, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ayo, What factors do you believe motivated the youth to stage these protests despite the police warnings?
Thank you so much. The protest, which was organized by Take It Back movement, did not start physically on the streets in terms of for this particular one. It started by a massive online campaign against free speech. The campaign also moved to hashtag, which was on Mute Me, which trended for some days, a week, on social media. And the need to take the action to the streets has actually been planned for a while, but due to the fasting period and other political issues, it was put on hold. But at this time, there was need to come back. And you also know, just as you stated, that young people also in Nigeria has been on the 30 days rant challenge, speaking on issues in the society. So we don't just want to rant. We also want to do street actions, to continue to maintain a democracy in our society.
So do you think the response from the police was proportionate to the action of the youths protesting? And how could the situation have been handled maybe differently?
Of course, the Take It Back movement is not new to the action of the police in any state. We understand that, and for an effective police to be given to Nigerians, there's need for a total restructuring of the Nigerian police force. You cannot get any positivity from this police. They can only try, because the foundation is definitely terrible. Their recruitment, everything that has to do with them is totally corrupt. Their salary, there's no, these are not paid, poorly paid policemen, poorly trained, and they're not even medically educated, So we get all this repression from them regularly, and we stand that ground, and until we get a society where people will be able to protest rather peacefully, definitely the protests will not stop. We are going to protest, against injustice, to stop, all these tear gas and arrest of people for just a simple civil protest.
So from your experience, do you believe that Nigerian authorities are capable of addressing the demands of youth movements? Or is there a disconnect between the government and the younger generation?
Thank you. This particular government and their ancestors, and I mean ancestors, is still APC that's in power, have been in power since 2015. And when I also mean ancestor, I mean it's still the same ruling elite have been in power since 1960. They keep on coming down the line. So this particular ancestor and style of governance, this particular breed of politicians cannot in any way solve the problem of society. They have been used to a specific style of system that it is needed for them to continue to savage, steal, and enjoy the dividends of democracy for themselves and their family and their friends. So if they stop oppression, if they stop police brutality, how do they enjoy that? So this set of governors, this set of politicians, this old set, that also the new ones that have joined them cannot. But can Nigerians get good governance through their government? Oh yes, it's possible. But like I said on the protest ground earlier today, that you cannot change your society if you fold your hands and think those that have been destroying it are going to do anything different. You are going to change your society when you fight 200 million Nigerians, 100 million Nigerians, 50 million Nigerians, quite hard to rescue that society and yourself get to power and make that change. The reason why we are doing what we are doing is so that we can get to that stage, and also so that we can tame the injustice of these people that are in power today, because I promise you, if nobody is fighting them, they will do well worse than what is going on, today.
All right, well, thank you very much then. We'll be sure to follow the story as it progresses. Thank you. Now we're going on a short break, but when we come back, 16 killed in Bokkos Local Government Area. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more. You're welcome back. Now to security matters. The Kebbi State Police Command has confirmed that 16 people were killed in a brutal bandit attack on Tungan Tora and Tungan Ladan villages in Aji Local Government Area. Now, in a statement released on Monday, the Police Public Relations Officer, CSP Nafiu Abubakar, said the attack occurred on Saturday, April 6, 2025, around 6 p.m. when heavily armed bandits believed to be part of the infamous Lakurawa group raided the villages. The attackers rustled cows and cattle and engaged in a deadly clash with residents, resulting in the tragic loss of life. Police Commissioner Bello M. Sani condemned the assault, vowing swift justice. Additional security forces have been deployed and a full investigation is underway. Authorities have assured residents that normalcy has been restored. Ojion Robo community in Okire Robo Kingdom, Warri, South, LGA of Delta State, has called on the Delta State government and relevant authorities to wade into the ongoing communal crisis rocking their communities. They accused suspected Ishekiri youth of setting one of their houses on fire and destroying other property worth millions of naira. News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who is on the ground monitoring developments in Warri, spoke to a cross-section of people about the development.
To the extent, our king coronation banner, where we put for the Yoruba community, Abraham and some other Shekiri people carry a motto, come with community for broad daylight, go carry king banner, of which Urobo never ever done that to any Shekiri community once. Say we see their banner for their place, we can go remove them. We don't to give government a long time. We give government 1 week. That 1 week, if that 1 week pass, make the ready say na wetin happen for Okwama. Wetin happen for Okwama? For them to come innovate everything wey they destroy for this community, and make them suspend Agbas first. Local government chairman, because now they spare the issue. So by the time they suspend that first, we go know say yes, the government they work. So if the government fails to do that thing for the people of Odion Robo, now me say they want to make it be say yeah, turn to Okwama community, and that thing not go good to anybody.
Before from store, around that kind 7:30, make I close. Now I hear gunshot. Poo. I say, okay, make I the come house. Now I begin work at the come house. Before I reach back there, I one boy tell me, say, Mama, they don't put fire for your house. That's how they come. Please, I don't take from my house. They don't feel open here. My door, na young door. They don't feel break out. Before then, everywhere don't like take fire finish. Now waiting, I see pain. I'm not pick for my house.
He's the sponsor of the Shekiri youth against the Shekiri nation against the peaceful people of Odion Robo community. We are calling on this appeal to the state governor to remove the chairman of Warri local government. He should remove the chairman of Warri local government, and he should be investigated because he's the one that is sponsoring this is Shekiri brothers against us innocently. We don't have any issue with them. Our people are saying we've lived here for centuries of years without disturb. They cannot annex our land from us. We have expanse of acres of land over there. We don't even go there because they let there be peace. But still, they don't allow us to know peace in our own land, in our own father's land. They are all strangers. The Shekiri, they are strangers in this place.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede has arrived in Bokkos Local Government Area of Plateau State for stakeholders' engagement and an on-the-spot assessment of the incidents that took many lives and destroyed unquantifiable amount of property. Now, this is the first visit of the Army boss in Plateau State since assuming office as the Chief of Army Staff in 2024. Among those in his entourage are the General Officer commanding 3 Division of Commander Operation Safe Haven and Major Folusho Oyinlola, who warned that security operatives will do anything possible to ensure offenders are decisively punished to serve as deterrent to others. Nigeria has marked its first ever National Police Day with renewed pledges from the federal government to reposition the Nigerian police force for professionalism, accountability, and a human rights-centered approach to policing. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Tinubu at the event, which was held at the Eagle Square in Abuja, joined past and present senior officers, service chiefs, heads of paramilitary agencies, and other senior government officials to mark the National Day celebration. We'll bring you this package in subsequent bulletin. Now, the Lagos State Police Command has embarked on a peaceful walk and sanitation of public spaces in commemoration of the 2025 National Police Day, initiated by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. The walk and sanitation exercise kick-started at the Oshodi bus terminal, led by the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Jimoh Moshood, represented by Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Tijani Fatai, and other senior officers, in line with the commitment of promoting a safer environment for the citizenry. However, some of the residents commended the men of the police force for this laudable initiative, while appreciating them for their community service, particularly for the free medical outreach, a gesture aimed at building trust and fostering collaboration between the police and the general public.
An initiative of the Inspector General of Police, who sorted the directive of the Commander-in-Chief CNC, that is the President of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for us to have a police week and police day. And the President has given an order to the Inspector General of Police approving on the 7th of April of every year for the police day. And preceding the police day, we're having the police week, and this is the police week we are into now. And one of the activities to commemorate the police week and the police day is what we are doing here today. This exercise you are seeing here today is one of the activities slated down to mark the police day.
We want the people to see that the Nigerian Police Force is the people's police. We care about not just their security, but their health as well. And as we all know, health is wealth. So we have a variety of activities done here today. And they range from BP check to the basic metabolic index check to eye check to sugar check, hepatitis B and C check. We have referral services to all our police hospitals in Lagos State.
This is my first time I'm seeing Nigerian police behaving as if they say they are friends. But this is the first time I'm seeing Nigerian police being a real friend. I've not seen something like this before. And that is why I want to participate. Because they said it's free, so I'm here to benefit from it.
Still on the National Police Day, the Adamawa State Police Command has convened a high-level stakeholder security meeting in the state. Themed Strengthening Security Collaborations for Effective Policing, the meeting brought together key stakeholders, including traditional and religious leaders, sister security agencies, civil society organizations, human rights groups, police community relations committee, members of the Police Officers' Wives Association, and other community leaders. News Central's Umaru Kira reports that the Adamawa State Commissioner of Police, Dankombo Morris, emphasized the importance of sustained community collaboration. Now, the Public Relations Officer of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, has commended the Take It Back movement for the peaceful and well-coordinated protest in Lagos. While addressing journalists at a media briefing, the PPRO stated that no shot was fired and no canisters of tear gas were deployed. According to him, the protesters organized themselves in an orderly manner and cooperated with the police.
The protests have been very peaceful in Lagos, and the protesters came out, gathered at Ikeja Under Bridge, and moved to the seat of government in Alausa. There was no confrontation, there was no problem whatsoever, and the police officers too were very professional in their conduct. Not one tear gas canister was fired, not one ammunition was fired. Everything went fine. And I want to assure Lagosians that our deployment is still fully intact, fully on ground, not yet withdrawn. Our plainclothes officers, uniformed officers, operational resources remain fully deployed to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order.
Hunde also mentioned some of the achievements of the command in the last 2 weeks. These range from arrests of suspects for operating illegal baby factories and rescue of victims to arrests of operators and trainees at an internet fraud school, rescue of kidnapped victims, recovery of arms and ammunition, amongst others.
We busted an illegal baby factory somewhere in Ijede in Lagos State. We got information of this baby factory, and operatives of the Lagos State Police Command swiftly moved there. Also, we have a case of arrest of operators and their trainees at a internet fraud training school, popularly called Yahoo School, somewhere in Iju. We arrested the operators of the school, and there are 6 trainees, all of which were brought from Anambra State to Lagos State to learn internet fraud. Also in Ikorodu, some kidnappers gained entrance into a property and kidnapped somebody, and also scaled the fence into the next compound and also kidnapped another person, making 2 people kidnapped. But the concerted efforts of officers of the command in partnership with Vigilante and Joint Task Force in that area yielded good results, as the kidnapped victims were rescued, and they've been reunited with their family.
We're going to short break now, and when we come back, Minister of Works David Umahi makes comment about Lagos waterways. We'll be back. Welcome back. Now, away from previous stories, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has called on Lagos State government and other relevant authorities to, as a matter of urgency, shut down the waterways between Eko and Carter bridges. He made the call during an inspection tagged emergency repairs of the underwater works and superstructural elements of 3rd Mainland Bridge and Carter bridges. News Central's Israel Iferobo was on the minister's entourage and now completes the report.
Lagos, Africa's most populous city, a mega city connected by arteries of steel and concrete, bridges. Every day, millions move across these vital bridges, but beneath the surface, a crisis is unfolding. This prompted the visit of the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, on a routine inspection.
The Third Mainland Bridge, what is happening below the deck, awarded to Julius Berger, the Carter Bridge too, and we are satisfied with the work they are doing.
Senator Umahi gave an assessment of the bridges visited, prompting urgent action on some of the bridges and a call to action. He gave a scale of the damage of critical underwater structures, piers and pile caps weakened by reckless dredging activities.
Dredger, hit one of the pile caps. The pile caps is like the legs to human beings. What the pile cap and the piles are to the bridges are what the legs are. So imagine, a vehicle hitting, one of your legs. And so I immediately directed divers to be deployed, and I went, to the smaller boat to monitor the level of damages.
The message from the minister was clear. A public safety emergency was unfolding.
Let me announce, and I appeal to the governor of Lagos State to please enforce that the waterways between Carter Bridge and the Eko Bridge should be closed, because the dredger that hit the pile caps and the piles, tumbled and they got sunk, and I know that you all saw it, and so part of it is being seen. And so if a boat or ship is now going through that way, it may be very dangerous.
Even more concerning, illegal dredging continues near other major bridges, despite a Federal Executive Council ban issued months ago.
I also saw along the line a very serious dredging along Top Mainland Bridge. Notwithstanding that Federal Executive Council about 4 months back banned dredging, nationwide, any form of dredging, 10-kilometer radius from all bridges in Nigeria.
In spite of the dangers, repair works are moving forward, led by construction firm Build Well.
For Echo Bridge, where we want over there, so far we are at 75% completion of the work. All the asphalt has been the new asphalt. All the bearing has been changed. We are changing right now the remaining of the expansion joint, which we have 1,000 meter of expansion joint. We are at 700 right now. We still have 300 expansion joint to do.
After the assessments, it is clear for all to see that this is not just about concrete and steel. It's about lives. And it's time to bridge the danger. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
The United Nations International Peace and Governance Council has advised African countries to negotiate and deepen regional integration in a bid to eliminate insecurity and achieve economic emancipation. This was made known at the 14th edition of the Pan-African Leadership Symposium and Honors, PALESH, held at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos, Nigeria. News Central's Omolola Ololade has more in this report. I'm told that we'll bring this subsequently, so do stay tuned. Coming up, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso withdraw envoys from Algeria. We'll tell you more on this after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. Now, tens of thousands of people demonstrated in Morocco's capital against the conflict in Gaza Strip, where Israel has resumed its offensive after a 2-month ceasefire. The largest pro-Palestinian protest in the capital, Rabat, for several months was called by the Justice and Development Party. Protesters were accompanied by chanting and the beating of drums as they marched down the city's Mohammed V Avenue near Parliament. They waved flags, including one bearing the image of slain Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar. South Sudan on Monday urged Washington to discuss a decision by the Trump administration to revoke all visas for South Sudanese passport holders, saying they had consistently obeyed immigration laws. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Sunday that Ruba was taking advantage of the United States, complaining that South Sudan was not accepting the nationals expelled from the United States. It was the first such measure singling out all passport holders from a particular country since Donald Trump returned to the White House in January. Having campaigned on an anti-immigration platform, South Sudan's Foreign Affairs Ministry said the country was facing a broad revocation of visas based on an isolated incident involving misrepresentation by an individual who is not a South Sudanese national. And children from various parts of Africa have participated in the second biennial Africa Children's Summit themed Seen, Heard, and Engaged in Education. The summit's agenda is to concentrate on the amplification of children's voices and priority issues, including child protection, violence against children, the effects of climate change, and many other topics affecting children. News Central's Bongani Sisiba has more on this.
From all over the continent, these children have come together for one common goal: to be heard. They refuse to be backbenchers in making decisions for their future. This summit is important for them.
We then look forward in receiving the outcomes of this summit from yourselves as we continue in our collective efforts to build a better Africa and a better world, fit for all children, fit for all of you, our dear children.
These young ones at heart, they are performers, artists, dreamers, hailing from all walks of life, yet bound by the same challenges. While they shine brightly on stage, Their hearts echo with the struggles of their peers: child sexual abuse, child pregnancy, hunger, early marriages, wars, and an urgent plea for safety for female genital mutilation in Liberia.
One of the challenges Kenyan children are facing is poor quality education.
South Africa face a number of issues, right, such as discrimination, stereotype, issues such as poverty and exclusivity from education. They contribute immensely to them because now they're limiting their participation and development in society.
Liberia are being abused by the customary law, which of course our advocacies have emerged into to get away of the customary law that prioritizes FGM, which is female genital mutilation.
As the summit unfolded, these young advocates made a clarion call to their leaders to listen, to protect, and to act.
Let the children speak on themselves. Do not speak on their behalf. They are going through unique challenges that only they themselves can have the ability to solve. But if you do not involve them, then that problem will continue hindering them.
His words, bold and unfiltered, capture the sentiments of many as the reality of their lives weighs heavily on their shoulders, standing united, echoing the dreams of a better tomorrow.
We cannot celebrate the inclusion of children when most decisions are made without us. We cannot praise participation when children are brought into programs for decoration and not transformation. We cannot truly talk about child-led advocacy when the platform is only given after the plans have already been put in place. We wanted what we call icebreakers because we are children. We want to shake a little bit. But programs have been put, and then we are only being called to actually talk. We need to be included in terms of the design of what? Of the program.
Despite the weight of their challenges, there is joy in these moments of solidarity. They remind us of the innocence that should prevail during childhood. However, these young voices carry one ultimate plea. The inaugural summit was held in Kenya, and in Johannesburg is the second gathering. And as it comes to a close, their messages of hope. They are legal warriors fighting for their right to dream, to play, and to simply be children. In Johannesburg, for News Central, Bongani Siziba.
Now, Nigeria has seen new records in power generation under the President Bola Tinubu administration. Earlier last month, Nigeria achieved a record power generation of 6,003 megawatts, the highest in the nation's history. Outgoing president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has disclosed that Nigeria has the highest population of people living without electricity globally. That's roughly 86 million Nigerians who lack access to electricity. Special Advisor Strategic Communications to the Minister of Power, Bolaji Tunji, while speaking on Power and the People on News Central TV, shared more insight on the efforts the government is making in the power sector.
We ought to go, and a great leader takes it to where they ought to be. Some hard decisions were made by this current administration, especially the Ministry of Power, in order to ensure that we get to this level where we are. Before the present administration got in, we were hovering around between less than 4,000 megawatts. The last time we had a celebration of a major issue like this was around 1984 when we had about 2,000 megawatts, and within that period to date, till this administration took over, we had about 4,000 megawatts. That's over 40 years to achieve 4,000 megawatts. But today, within less than 2 years of this administration, we have been able to do about 1,500.
What does that mean for us?
Yeah, all it means is that for the businesses and households in Nigeria, there will be more power available for them. You understand? Okay. And that is what people are experiencing now. You know, before now, it wasn't always like that. We had so many challenges, the economy had so many challenges, but today, these are gradually being reduced.
Now, former Lagos Commissioner for Energy Resources, Olalere Odushote, gave an insight on the role of the Lagos State Government in the Electricity Act 2023. Principal partner.
Things we know about Lagos is that it's been called a victim of its own success. And I'll tell you why I say that. Lagos sits on less than 0.4% of Nigeria's landmass and plays host to between 12 and 13% of all Nigerians, meaning Lagos is at a critical point where it needs to solve certain problems. And that's why Lagos typically takes the first step, because not because they necessarily or politically want to, it's almost because they are forced to do it. And so every Lagos State governor comes to the office and suddenly finds out that there's a lot that they have to achieve. And so it's not like the federal government that is in Abuja and is far removed from the people. Lagos State is very close to the people of Lagos and has to account to the people of Lagos for everything it does. So one of the things we found out during the campaign in a couple of years ago was when we asked people what their biggest problems were. The first problem was traffic. The second problem, they said, was electricity. And so that made it clear that the government had, at that time, its work charted out for it. And what the government very quickly found out was while they could intervene in traffic, there was very little they could do with electricity. And so one of the charges from the governor was, what can we do to solve that problem?
Partner and a stakeholder, Eco Disco, George Itomi, spoke on the efforts the Abia State government is making in improving electricity in the state.
Abia State, yes, has taken definitive steps. They've passed the law. They've set up the regulatory commission, and what perhaps stands them out is the presence of geometric energy, because that was already in place, and it was to serve a captive market, the Aba industrial cluster. With that model, which allowed them to generate, transmit, and distribute power, you already have an idea of what a disaggregated market would look like. So that's what perhaps stands Abia out.
CEO, X-Credit Consulting, and former Commissioner, NERC Consumer Affairs, as well as Commissioner for Market and Competition Rate in person of Ayo Ekpo, also shared his thoughts on power generation and challenges.
You will be prepared to some degree. And the important thing is actually to carry out that interaction, that engagement with your counterparts, not just NERC. There's TCN, there's the DISCO that operates within your state, there's NAPTIN, there are all sorts of federal government power sector agencies that you've got to work with and actually try to understand what they do that concerns your state, which you will now, as a state regulator, as a state ministry of power, take direct responsibility for. So that preparatory phase is critical. What you have in Lagos is that Lagos has given notification to the federal government, to NERC, and so the clock begins to run. And 6 months from the time when that notification is delivered, whether you want it or not, whether you are ready or not, the responsibility passes over to you.
Now, that's all this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories we brought your way. Youth have defied police warnings, staged protests in Lagos, Abuja, and River State. Police have confirmed 16 killed in bandit attack on Kirby villages. And we also told you that thousands have rallied in Morocco at pro-Palestinian protests. Remember, you may send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Able TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching.